Hello YouTubers, this is SHEM. In front of me is the ZTE Blade VEC 4G that I've been testing for a couple of weeks, and it's time to bring you my detailed review of the device. As always, there is a timeline in the video description so that you can jump directly to the section of interest. I hope you'll enjoy the video. The device comes packed in a white card box with the model name on the front. Let's take a look inside. Once the lid is removed, you will see your brand new smartphone for the first time. I'm gonna put the device aside for just a minute to show you the remaining box contents. Once you remove a blue plastic divider, you will find a quick guide. Below you'll find a little bag with the SIM ejection tool, the wall charger, USB charging cable and white earphones. Let's move on to the build and design of the ZTE Blade VEC 4G. On the top of the front panel we have the 5 megapixel front-facing camera, LED notification light on the left and the earpiece speaker and sensors on the right. Below lies the 5-inch HD display covered in glass, which unfortunately is not the renowned Gorilla from Corning. On the left side is a hidden micro SIM card slot that you can open with the SIM ejection tool. On the bottom right is the first microphone and the headphone jack. On the right side we have the power and volume buttons with rough surfaces located quite close to each other. And on the top you will find the micro USB charging port. On reverse we have the 13 megapixel camera module with autofocus and flash, secondary microphone, the ZTE logo and the main speaker. The back cover is non-removable and the battery is not user replaceable. I quite like the carbon imitation found on the back of Blade VEC. Although the phone's body is entirely made of plastic, it feels solid in the hand. I also like how the charging port is located on the top and the headphone jack on the bottom. It makes it easier to use the phone whilst it's charging, and the headphones don't require as much cable, which also doesn't cover the screen during use. The smartphone is 142.3mm in length, 70.4mm in width, and its thickness is 7.8mm. The weight is 132 grams. Its shape is quite blocky and the smooth surface of the back makes it quite slippery in the hand. Moving on to the technical specification, the ZTE Blade VEC 4G comes with Snapdragon 400 clocked at 1.2 GHz, Adreno 305 GPU, 1GB of RAM and 16GB of internal storage. There is no microSD card slot for storage expansion. Additionally, we have LTE, Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi, FM radio, GPS and GLONASS technologies. There is no NFC or wireless charging in the device. On a cloudy day with airplane mode switched on, it locked onto 16 satellites within just a couple of seconds. It had no problems with Wi-Fi or mobile reception either. The device currently works on quite an outdated version of Android 4.4.2 KitKat and offers almost stock Android experience with a few apps from ZTE. In Antutu benchmark, my unit achieved a rather poor result of 17,411 points. Performance in practice is however surprisingly good. There are some lags in the interface, but they are not too obvious, and also some of the newest gaming titles such as Modern Combat 5 or Deus Ex The Fall are not supported. Slightly older titles such as Real Racing 3 and Modern Combat 4 run well, and the phone didn't significantly heat up after gameplay. ZTE Blade VEC 4G has a single speaker located on the back. Its location does not cause accidental muffling during normal use, and the sound is rather average. It lacks the punch and the maximum loudness is not too high. The phone comes with Dolby Digital technology that adds a surround effect which can be switched on in equalizer settings. During calls the sound was okay on both sides. The 5-inch display of the ZTE Blade VEC 4G has a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels, which gives it a pixel density of 294 pixels per inch. The technology used is IPS TFT. The pixel density is quite high and the pixels are visible only on very close inspection. The display uses one glass solution and no gap can be seen separating the glass and the actual screen. It looks really good, has high contrast levels and brightness, the colors are vibrant and viewing angles are extremely wide. As I've previously mentioned, the ZTE Blade VEC 4G works on Android 4.4.2 KitKat, and the device comes with 16GB of internal storage with no microSD slot. Although the skin itself looks identical to stock Android KitKat, there are a few extra pre-installed apps and widgets. Firstly, we have the weather and clock widget from ZTE. Next, let's take a look at some of the pre-installed apps. First is the Dolby app that I've mentioned in the speaker section. Next up is a simple flashlight app and the FM radio app making use of the built-in module. On the list you'll also find a simple file manager with quite limited functionality but a very clean interface, a redesigned gallery app with cool collage maker and GIF maker options, and a full Office suite called Kingsoft Office where you can create documents, spreadsheets and presentations. Next we have a Mi Easy Access app that lets you select 4 apps to be quickly accessed from the lock screen, and a Mi Pop-up that creates a floating button and lets you completely hide the navigation bar. Up next is the Notepad, which is very limited and only lets you type notes. There is also a simple sound recorder and a task manager to free up RAM memory and close apps working in the background. The phone uses the TouchPal keyboard, which is actually one of the best keyboard replacement apps available in the Play Store. That's pretty much it when it comes to software in ZTE. One last cool option can be found in settings and is the virtual key that hides the navigation bar, which can be accessed by swiping from the bottom of the display. ZTE Blade VEC 4G comes with 2300 mAh lithium-ion battery. I've tested the smartphone for 2 weeks and the battery life is average. On a normal day of my rather heavy use, with LTE switched on at all times, I would get around 3 hours of screen on time. When on Wi-Fi, the battery gives around 4 hours of screen on time. Those are rather average results, but the smartphone should easily last an average user a full day of use. Now let's move on to the camera. On the back is a 13MP module with LED flash and autofocus, and on the front a 5MP selfie camera. The layout of the camera app is quite standard, with quick settings found on the left hand side in horizontal position. Here we can toggle between front and back camera, choose simple and expert shooting in normal mode, and change the flash mode. In settings found on the right lower corner we can set the picture resolution, select the grid and voice control, or face detection. Then we have the video settings where we can select from the available resolutions, turn on time-lapse video or silence camcorder. Maximum resolution in ZTE Blade VEC is Full HD. There is a small retractable menu with filters on the right lower corner which you can select from the list. So as I said, we can select fully automatic or expert in normal mode. Once expert is selected, you can change the light metering, ISO, exposure as well as the white balance. You can also find automatic, HDR, panorama, beautiful and smile modes on the list. In front-facing camera there is a beautify mode and smile detection mode. Let's talk about the quality of pictures. As long as the lighting conditions are very good, the images look decent. Unfortunately, as soon as the light is lacking a little bit, pictures become blurry even with minimal hand movement and produce poor results. Taking a clear macro shot is also only possible when in good light. As you can imagine, the night shots are even worse than the daylight ones. They're so full of graininess and blur that they're useless. The 5MP front-facing camera, where you would expect slight improvement over the competition, is actually quite good. The pictures provide a higher level of detail than most devices from this price range, but in low light you can barely see anything. When it comes to video quality, although conditions at the time of recording were nowhere near perfect, the Full HD footage is very poor. It lacks stabilization and refocuses quite often whilst recording. Time-lapse capture is a cool feature found in ZTE Blade, and here it does the job quite well. So as usual at the end, I'm going to summarize the smartphone and help you decide if the ZTE Blade VEC 4G is the right choice for you. The main strengths of the device are design, with the headphone jack on bottom and micro USB on the top, LTE support, very good display, close to stock Android experience, decent front-facing camera and attractive price. When it comes to weaknesses, we have the not user replaceable battery, no memory expansion, average speaker and main camera, budget specification, quite outdated Android version and no tempered glass on the front. The ZTE Blade VEC 4G is also being sold without 4G with a slight price reduction, and you can find it as Orange Rono from the operator. The version from Orange does come with a lot of pre-installed apps which are in fact mainly bloatware and could have impact on its performance. Is ZTE Blade VEC 4G a phone to recommend? Well, it definitely isn't a bad device, but it does come with a few significant cons, such as the poor camera or the lack of microSD slot. Similarly priced Motorola Moto G 2nd generation might be the better choice, but it does lack LTE that is found here. I hope that you've enjoyed my review. I look forward to your comments, and if you did like what you saw, please feel free to subscribe and don't forget to hit the like button under the video. Thanks for watching.